Hello and welcome to the Otakuology Podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, my furry friend, Jin Graves. And we are
What's up?
back again with another episode for you guys today. And this is an anime that Jin picked. We are looking at BNA, Brand New Animal, episodes 1 and episode 2 today. We got a good one for you, I feel like, today.
Oh, well, then I already know what you're going to rate this one if you're already saying we're having a good day.
I don't know, because I did fall asleep. I did fall asleep watching it.
I mean, it's better than the last one, though, right?
Yeah, it is. But this is an anime that came out in 2020. It ran for 12 episodes. It's animated by Studio Trigger, which I was very surprised about that. Very surprised. And it actually has a light novel. I don't know if it's an adaptation, and it has 1 volume of manga. The manga didn't run for that long. So I'm very curious if this is an original anime or if it's like based on a light novel or manga. I'm very curious because the anime predates the books.
I'd say that then.
In this situation. But what this show is about, it's about this world. I'm very curious if it's actually Japan that they're in. I don't know. It's a world where humans and beasts cannot coexist together, or beast men, as they say, beast people.
They try to make them coexist.
They try to make them coexist, but it does not work at all. And our episode starts out with this young girl trying to get to like an ATM of sorts.
Well, it does and it doesn't.
It does and it doesn't. What do you mean?
It does and it doesn't. You know, because when she goes to this ATM, there is a thing where it's a beast man and a human holding hands, and it says equality on it.
Yeah.
And you do have these extremists that are like, we can't coexist together.
No, we cannot coexist at all.
So,
which we're very much just dropped into this anime.
We are, and I think that makes it good.
Yeah, with no real explanation, really. We're just fed little breadcrumbs of like, this is what's going on.
Right. See, and I figured you'd enjoy this one because out of all the stuff we've been reviewing, it's all been Trigger stuff. So I assume that this one would be on your radar because it's Studio Trigger.
I mean, I like Studio Trigger. I do, but like I haven't seen like every anime of theirs.
Seems like we're covering those now.
And to be honest, like I don't keep up with the anime studios and stuff anymore, really. So I'm always surprised like who does what and stuff like that,
Right.
But yeah, she tries to get this money out. She doesn't. There's hate speech written on this poster. And we see this young group.
Because of the militia group, guys.
Because like the hate. We'll call them a hate group. They're a hate group. They're hate mongers.
Yeah.
They hate furry people.
Because they hate him.
Which I think they would probably not like us because we're very hairy people. We're bears.
We'd get sent to the island.
We're bears, so we would get sent to the island.
We would get sent to the island and be like, hey guys. Hey, we're not actually supposed to be here.
We got sent here on accident.
Yeah. Well, so before we get too far into this, I want to throw something at you.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want to look it up, and I didn't want to tell you this ahead of time because I wanted to have your truest opinion of it.
Okay.
But because these people are called Beastmen, do you think that this has anything to do with Gurren Lagann?
Oh.
Whether it be like
because they were Beastmen in that too.
Exactly.
Did Studio Trigger work on Gurren Lagann? Because I thought Gainax worked on Gurren Lagann.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Studio Trigger. I'm not sure though,
I don't know. Let me. You keep talking. Let me look it up and see.
because Prom Air is Trigger, right?
I believe so.
So I think it is Trigger, but I can't 100% say that. But regardless of whether it is or not, because it could be a throwback to that whenever they split the companies.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to know though your opinion if you thought that this could either be almost like a prequel series to Gurren Lagann or a sequel series to Gurren Lagann.
So they didn't do Gurren Lagann. They did not do, and they didn't work on. Did they? I don't know. Let me go down to. Let me go down to. They did do Promare.
Okay.
They did do Promare, but they did not work on Gurren Lagann. So yeah, Gainax. I know for a fact Gainax worked on Gurren Lagann. Which did you know Gainax has gone bankrupt recently?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Maybe you told me.
they're going bankrupt, and they're trying to give all their IPs off to the original like creators of the IPs.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Which that's cool. So then they can possibly make more. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think this has anything to do with Gurren Lagann. Like we said.
Okay.
Like we said, I don't think it does. Which we should cover Gurren Lagann one day.
You mean cover all the episodes?
I mean, there's like 25 episodes.
All the episodes?
Yeah, not the movies.
Let's do it.
Okay.
There's a movie?
Yeah, there's like a recap movies.
Have I been under a rock?
Yeah, probably.
It's not the little stupid movie like they did for the Gundam thing, right? Where it was the Unicorn Gundam, and it was like they took like 8 episodes, threw them all together, and was like, "This is a movie," and it's like, no, it's not.
No,
it's the episodes that y'all strung together.
I think they made new movies, and they're like just retellings of the TV shows.
Okay.
And I think maybe they added a few new things in it. I don't know. I've never watched them because I've never been able to get a hold of them.
Well, obviously, I've never even heard of them. So
I think there's like 2 or 3 movies. But anyways, we see
back on the BNA train.
We see this young mysterious girl, which we can. Do you want to say her name right now? It's I forgot what her name was. Michiru.
I do not want to say her name.
Why?
Because I can't ever remember her name.
It's Michiru, right?
Like every time I've watched this, I keep trying to like tell people I'm watching it, and every time I do, I get the what is she? The mink. I keep getting her name mixed up with it. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Her name is I forgot what her name. Maria Itami?
Yeah.
Mari Itami?
Yeah.
Mari Itami is the mink. And then Michiru Kagimori is our main character, which I really like her design. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, I like her look. It looks really cool.
Her blue-haired look.
Her blue hair, and she has like the bandit mask over her eyes because she's quote a raccoon. But technically, she's not a raccoon.
She's a tanuki.
She's a tanuki, actually. But I was like, tanukis.
Right.
I was like, we don't, But yeah,
and it seems like she's the only one with like superpowers.
No. The wolf guy Shirou, I think he has some superpowers going on.
I mean, he's got the nose thing, but I'm talking about like actual superpowers because she can do that whole thing with her tail and whatnot.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So we see Michiru. She basically ends up jumping onto a bus and trying to get to this island. And this island is like all for the Beastmen. And she gets basically accosted by this hate group
Can,
militia,
can we call it AKA Zootopia?
aka Zootopia. She goes to Zootopia,
Right? No,
and
I mean, between Zootopia and there's one other one, and I was like, I feel like this is the anime version of that.
but yeah, she gets accosted. She gets saved by a couple beastmen. We meet the mink, Mari, the mink, and she ends up saving her for a price, which is funny because Michiru picked up on that like right away. She was like, "You're
Right?
not saving me because you want to save me. You're saving me because you want my fucking money."
Yeah, this is the money
This,
saving.
this, this the. She's like, "I'm gonna probably owe you later," type of thing. And she gets there, and uh, Marin starts asking her, "Hey, why are you coming to the island?" I forgot what was the island's actual name.
Gotta go.
Do you remember what it is?
No.
I don't either.
I just remember it was called like Beastman Island, and then the city actually had a name, but I don't remember anybody saying the name of the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so they end up going to Anima-City, and she like just drops her off in the middle of nowhere. And Michiru gets into the city, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this city is so amazing." Which I just gotta say, this city basically looks like Japan.
I just gotta say, I don't know what part you were thinking about at first, because it looks crazy as shit when she first gets there.
I mean, it does. And she's this
Because she
glowing
starts
wolf on
walking.
top of the building. This wolf is glowing,
Yeah.
and I was
Well,
like,
and then
"Oh,
she walks out and it looks like a cult's coming to get her. And
yeah."
you're
I
like,
was like, I was
what
like,
the
I was like,
fuck?
is she gonna get eaten alive? Like, what's going on
Right?
here?
Something's going to happen.
Something's gonna happen. She's gonna get eaten by all these wolves. And then
Yeah, well, like what she got out of was like this little like militia group almost like hunting her down. Like
yeah,
they shot arrows at her, they pulled out knives, they hit her with a steel
like a pipe.
rod.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there were four of them that were trying to get her and basically like beat her to a pulp.
yeah,
And I mean, it was just weird as hell. But then when we get here to the island and it's like all dark and she starts walking in and then all these things come out looking like wolves,
hmm
I was like, okay, are we out of the fire into the frying pan or the opposite?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because I was totally like, we're between a rock and a hard place.
yeah,
Where did this chick drop her off at? Oh my God.
yeah. And then she finds out it's a festival. They're celebrating a festival for like 10 years of being a city, basically.
Yeah.
I think it is. And she's having fun, doing all this stuff. She runs into Shirou, who is a mysterious wolf character at the moment, who can't stop crying for some reason. He's a big old, like, sensitive crybaby, I feel like.
He is.
But he's crying. I guess it's a happy cry. I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing a happy cry. And so far from what we've seen of him, I almost feel like he's a one trick pony because he gets upset and he really looks down on a lot of people um, for like if they're not supporting like the Beastmen.
Yeah.
So like he's all about like how some people are like extremists of wanting them dead. He almost seems like the opposite.
He wants to protect all beastmen.
And I don't feel like we really see like a happy medium of him caring about humans.
No,
So
no.
that's something that I question. And it's really weird though too how this, because I've read some of Beastars,
Uh huh.
a lot of this seems like stuff that happens in Beastars, and I'm like,
Were there humans in Beastars?
no. But there's like the city that they're in and like all this other stuff and how some things happen. with like the groups and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
that's part of it.
I remember like they had some like prejudice and stuff towards like the wolf guy and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember. I
So
don't remember what his name is.
the one in Beastars?
Yeah, the big guy in Beastars. I remember they had like prejudice against him because he like ate meat,
It's like Leros or Leos
and I
or
think he might have like killed somebody. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read
yeah,
Beastars.
somebody died, but they don't know who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but she runs into Shirou, who is a big giant wolf. I would say he looks cool. He looks cool, but I have to dock some cool points because he has a fucking dog collar on. I never
I mean,
I mean, I get it, but like, I never like it when I see like anime characters wearing like collars.
were you never emo, Mike?
I mean, not to that extent. Not to that extent. I'm not like choke me, choke me. You can sit on my face, but don't choke me.
Oh my god. Jesus.
But yeah, she sees Mari again.
Well, so before we touch on that, did you think that Shiro was the big wolf on top of the building?
Yes, I got that vibe. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah, I got that vibe. Whole like I feel like they didn't really hide that very good in a sense. Like there was it was very much like projected to make you think that if that's Shiro. I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering if he is a representation of that or something, because when we find out more about this thing and it being the celebration of the silver
Mhm.
wolf and everything, Shiro very much does look like a silver wolf, but he's also white, so I'm not
Well,
a
that
hundred
it
percent
could
on part of that.
he could be a silver color, but
That's
it's
true.
just shown up as white in the anime because he's like white and like he has like blue on him a little bit.
But yeah,
But
um,
she runs into to Mari, the not the weasel because she's not a weasel.
the mink,
She's the mink because weasels have dirty fur. Minks have the nice fur, according to her.
right?
And Michiru ends up getting pickpocketed by a monkey guy. She tries to go after him, but she doesn't find him. But she sees this other wolf guy, like working on this like big display tower thing. And she like he goes away because he sees her. She doesn't find the monkey guy.
Yeah, it was like a mega screen.
Yeah, it was like a big, huge jumbotron type of
Yeah,
thing.
which
And go ahead.
I have to tell you, when I watched this part,
Uh-huh.
because whenever she sees Shiro, like she turns around for a second and turns back and he's gone.
Yeah.
I thought this was Shiro in disguise,
Okay, I kind of did too.
and I was like, "What the fuck,
I
bro?"
kind of
Like,
did too because they have the same like face almost,
yeah,
but like like Shiro has like kind of long hair in the back, but this guy was like a gray and white. I think fox, like not a fox, like a wolf.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I love this part where like she hits the like the scaffolding and like it blows up. She's like, "What did I do that?" And I love this scene in particular where she's running away and this thing's slowly falling over, and she goes and runs to try to get this old billy goat guy who's running with the walker, and she's like trying to get him, and just seeing her run and then this thing slowly collapse onto her was like really funny. I really liked how it was like animated. And when,
I like this one too,
yeah,
especially where it looked like at one point that she ended up hitting him with the walker, and like her momentum like was pushing them,
yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, they're going faster," and
yeah.
then you just see like this big like silver flash just go whoop.
Whoop. And Shiro actually saves them, and Shiro like is like, "Hey, what'd you do? Did you break the jumbotron thing?" And she's like, "No, I didn't do it. It was somebody else. It was somebody else." And we see kind of Shiro's power, where Shiro basically can smell people like Daredevil and find them.
Yeah, yeah.
Except he's not blind. He can just smell people really good.
Right. Well, and he can smell them enough where it makes like an
Like,
image of their timeline. I mean, it's kind of like a bloodhound.
yeah, which there's a bloodhound in the anime, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Uh, but Shirou ends up chasing these guys down. Michiru follows him because she's still looking for a wallet. You know, we find out that this beast man, which I didn't. Okay, so the first time I watched this,
Yeah.
I thought that they were humans dressed up in like beastman costumes. I
Oh, when
did.
he did his smell thing again?
Yeah, when he did his smell thing and he went to go like confront these guys.
Yeah.
Like I thought, yeah, I thought they were like humans dressed up in costumes, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Like it's like a little like wrinkle.
Yeah. No, he does tell you about that because you have the wolf guy, you have the lion guy, and you have the deer guy.
Yeah, and they were beastmen hired by the humans.
Yeah.
They're kind of like
And
mercenaries almost.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And he could smell
the humans.
what the humans looked like
Yeah,
on them, and he was like, "Oh, if you're around a human, like the scent doesn't go away." Which there's only one thing I really question about that, honestly, with the rest of this
uh huh.
is the whole thing with Mari of how he like had to take her to the doctor and everything, and like, oh, she says
You mean
she's a human.
Michiru?
Yeah, yeah.
Michiru, not Mari.
My
But
bad.
anyway, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But like he took her to the doctor like after this fight.
Yeah,
Well, it's in the beginning of the next episode, but we'll circle back
yeah,
around. Um, he can't tell that she was a human slash like any of her belongings were around
yeah.
humans. So that's the other weird part is like he gets the view of her, and I think it's really just an oversight that was overlooked by the Studio Trigger team for that,
Possibly, I don't know.
because like I don't really feel like she would have had to go through the whole like trials and tribulation of all that stuff of her having to go to the doctor to be tested and all this other stuff
Yeah,
whenever he could have been like, okay, well, like everything around you says like there's human,
yeah.
but he can't see that on her, which is the weird part.
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, so he starts fighting these animals. I kind of wonder too. I think you watched part of the anime. Um, Shit, what is it called? It's the one with the big red bear guy, and he teaches the little boy how to use the sword.
Oh, Boy and the Beast.
Yeah, yeah, Boy and the Beast. Um, So, whenever they have their fight in A
Mm-hmm.
Boy and a Beast, they either have the weapons, they have like fist, or they have their beast form, which is where they get all big and bulky and like muscly. And it seemed like after he knocked the wolf guy out, that there was the deer and the lion guy were almost going to do that.
Yeah,
And I couldn't exactly figure out if that was really a thing or if it was just supposed to be like the imposing of we've ripped off our clothes and now we're bulked kind of
I think it
situation.
was. I think it was more like an opposing situation.
Okay.
Like, oh, we're big and strong type of thing. This is where I kind of break your heart. I feel
Yeah.
like I've never seen a Boy and the Beast.
You still got the name, so fuck you. You still got the name, buddy. um
But yeah, no, this fight was really cool. Like I liked this fight. I love the lighting that they were doing, where it was like pink and like a bluish purplish color for like
yeah.
like the shadows of like the neon lights in the city and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. And
it
them being down the alley.
them being on the down the alley, like the way the colors looked and the shading, it looked
Yeah.
really really cool. Like I really
Yeah.
liked it. It was amazing.
So the other funny thing was when this is going on, because of the lighting, the gray wolf guy looks like he's darker than he is.
Yeah.
And I was watching it and I was like, oh my god, that guy looks like Shirou from or not Shirou, Kuro from Delicious in Dungeon. I was like, and I went down a whole different rabbit hole. I was like, what if Leos was here? How cool would that be? He'd be like, oh my god, look at all these
Oh my
different
god,
guys.
look at the beastman. How many nipples does the
Right.
cow have? The cow
And
lady
then
have?
I got struck real hard with a realization that would he try and eat all these people? And I was like, okay, bad idea for Leos to ever come to this world.
He might eat them, or he might just study them. I don't know.
That's true. But we have that. We have where shoot, what's our dog guy's name in this again?
Shirou?
It is Shiro. Okay.
Yeah, Shirou.
I was like, Kuro, Shiro, where am I at? Shiro is fighting them, like beats the crap out of the lion guy, and then rips the antlers off of the deer guy.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
You know, and then uses one of them as almost like a sword baseball bat because the lion guy gets back up, knocks him out, and then he's going for like the final kill, and the wolf guy has just like woken back up.
Yeah.
And we kind of get to see more on Shiro. I feel like that if you're standing in the overall thing of the Beastman way, Shiro is probably going to attempt to kill you.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I mean, we don't know anything. We don't know anything at this point yet. Like, if he's like a government agent or something else, like, but he has enough of these skills that you have to kind of lean that way with this episode. But then our Tanuki girl hops in and says, you know, don't kill him. And he still tries to. And we see her powers come out where her tail grows huge and it has like a light blue sparkly light and it pushes him away from them. And then she just stands in front of him like, you know, you don't have to kill these guys.
Yeah, you don't have to kill these guys and whatnot. And he's like, Shiro says, I have to, you know, I have to protect, you know, everybody. Like, I have to, like, stop the humans, basically. And she's like, well, I'm a human.
Right.
And he's like, well, why do you look like that?
Right.
And that's where our first episode ends.
Right. So off of this first episode right now, we've had the two different things with Shiro that really stick him with this whole Beastman thing. And so far with him, I have a bad taste in my mouth with his character.
Really?
Yeah, just like he's cool and whatnot, but this whole like for the Beastman thing kind of like throws me off. I mean, I see it, but at the same time, I don't.
I feel like he's very much like the straight man in.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
The series, like he's like very like by the book. I have to do this type of thing, you know.
Yes,
he basically acts like the Beastman's guardian. It's almost like an urban legend or a myth to some people.
Right. So we hop into the next episode 2.
Yeah.
And he takes her to the doctor that checks, and yes, she has whatever the gene is. And she brings up, oh, I can show you my ID from my wallet. That'll show the proof. And she realizes that it got stolen.
Yeah, which they used to test to see if they're a beast man with like nose strips.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
And the doctor goes like, well, even without this, like, we can still tell.
We can still tell you're a beast man.
So really the only thing the nose strips really do is if they're in their full human form, is if you're a beast man or not.
Yeah. Which I just have to say, like, so like she ends up staying the night and going off with Shiro and stuff to like, you know, to try to get like identification basically later on. There's this one point where he turns into his human form and she can't turn into a human form.
Yeah.
whatsoever. Which I feel like it kind of like defeats the purpose of Beastman Island if they could change into humans.
Yeah, yeah.
To be
Well,
honest,
I agree with you, but it does get explained later on in this episode a little bit.
a little bit,
Not
yeah,
like full outright, but a little bit.
yeah,
But here's my other thing that I think. While this is a good anime so far, not everything is fleshed out because if
no, no,
everybody
no,
on
no,
this
no,
island is supposed to be a Beastman,
yeah,
why do you need to have the Beastman strips in the center of the city?
true.
Because if everybody on this island is supposed to be that way, there's no tourists, there's nothing else. Why do they have those to identify if you are one or not?
Maybe if humans come over, maybe try to get into the.
Yeah, but I would more see that as like a border patrol thing, like whoever's, on the sides of the stuff. And if that was true, like how else does any of that stuff happen?
Yeah, I mean, no, it was kind of weird. Like, it was definitely weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they're kind of holding stuff a little bit close to their vest at their chest at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Try not to give everything away. Which,
Yeah,
it's a sign of a good anime to not give like your whole story away. In the first two episodes.
that's true. I just think there's other stuff that could have things, like instead of having these strips that like, oh, it tells you that, but
Maybe
clearly.
it's like a blood test or something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that that we would kind of have that like oh my god moment, like
You're like, oh no,
I mean it's a cool idea, but I
yeah,
just felt like it was kind of like out of place because of everybody on this island is supposed to be the way that they are already,
yeah,
be a
yeah,
beastman.
yeah, yeah.
Um but Shiro and the doctor kind of send her down this other path to almost like a bank situation.
Yeah, it's like a bank, almost like a DMV type of thing, I feel like.
Yeah. And this was kind of cool. I like where they added the stuff back into this that was more of the Beastman thing.
Hmm.
Because they say, like, you could go here, but it's still survival of the fittest. And
Yeah.
whoever is the more mighty one. So we have two different guys that come up, and one of them says, I was here first when he came from like the back of the line, and
Hmm.
both of them get in a big fight.
And then
And
one of them wins.
one of them wins, and so he gets to take that position already.
Yeah.
So that was kind of another cool aspect, even though we really don't see the city operating on that yet.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I really can't wait to see more of that.
I'm really
Um,
interested to see how the city operates because of this episode in particular.
yeah.
Later on with what we get into.
Well, and then like the government stuff is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like
I want to know why Anima-City is run by Cassandra Nova, because she looks like Cassandra Nova from the Deadpool movie.
you goober. Um,
I was waiting for them to
see,
like start reading fucking minds or something.
oh my god. Well, and I can't remember. I think this lady's a snake.
Is she?
I think so. So this is actually something after Shiro leaves her. I'm going to get us a little moved on. So we see the monkey guy again,
Yes, the
and
monkey guy.
he is stealing stuff, and
Michiru.
Michiru realizes who it is, and she goes to grab a hold of him and take him, and she's gonna drag him basically to the police and be like, this is the guy that stole my wallet.
Yeah.
And she ends up running back into Mika.
Mari.
Okay. Now I know where we got Mari from. I
Yeah.
was like, where are we getting this Mari name if it's Mika? I'm so
No, I
confused.
think it's Mari.
Um, so she sees Mari again, and she tells her, "Hey, well, if anything's lost, you probably want to go to this place, which is Rabbit Town.
Yeah, Rabbit Town.
And it's she wants to ask for this lady called Grand Grandma.
Grand Grandma, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put a stick in it right there real quick and hop back over to Shirou. So he is going to talk to this
The
lady, the
mayor.
one that you're talking about. Yeah. So I can't remember what her animal is. I swear it's a snake, but the only way we would have remembered that is when she pulled out her phone on the top of the bus when she was on her way to Anima-City.
Uh-huh.
Remember, she watched the little trailer
Yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah.
for why Anima-City was so great.
Yeah.
And the mayor is on that.
She also kind of looked like a naked mole rat, almost. I was waiting for her to eat some like nachos or the
Oh my
tachos.
gosh. Yeah. Kim Possible.
The nacho, whatever. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, the taco nachos.
The taco nachos, yeah.
Yeah. But we have that. We hear a little bit of stuff, not much like, hey, you need to go here. We know that her path is somehow going to get crossed with his at some point again.
Yeah, he works for the B Co-op, which they don't tell us what that is exactly. But he does work for like some organization.
Yeah, well, and I mean, so far from what we know, every time we see B, it means beast. So yeah. I guess the Beast Co-op.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell us anymore what it is.
No. We don't even know what he does.
Right.
Like what's his we know what his goal is, but we don't know what his like job is.
Right. So he goes off to start his mission, everything. We see some other higher up people. We don't know if there's humans involved with any of this or not. I don't think so.
There were.
But we don't ever see one of the guys like change that's sitting there. And then we hop back over to where we are at Rabbit City.
Mm-hmm. Where she finds the place, which I was a little confused.
Okay.
Like with Grand Grandma, I know she does some like seedy like business practices, but were they all supposed to be like prostitutes? Because they kept saying like women are only good for one thing.
So I think that yes, it's called Rabbit Town for two things. Because Grand Grandma is a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, side note, I fucking hate that name. Like, that is the stupidest fucking name. But whatever. I mean, like, every time it was said, I was like, this is the stupidest name. Like, who the fuck calls themselves Grand Grandma? Yeah, Jesus Christ. I'm docking points because of that.
She could have went by Gigi.
But we have where, our character walked into town and all the girls are there in human form.
Yeah.
And obviously we can't transform, so we're in the Tanuki. And they take her to Grand Grandma because supposedly in your beast form means that you're ready for war.
Yeah, ready for a fight.
Yeah. So they do all that stuff. And this is where, kind of like what you were talking about, where all that other stuff, a bunch of the males do refer to women are only good for one thing.
Yeah, they're only good for one thing. And when the men give up on a female beast person, they end up having a hard time in society. So they go to quote dangerous work, which I'm guessing dangerous work is I'm going to go fucking work the corner.
I agree. I just don't think the series wanted us to have those words in this. Because hello, the other thing is this is called Rabbit Town.
Rabbit Town, yeah.
And what are rabbits supposedly known and good at?
They fuck.
Exactly.
They fuck.
So like out of all this stuff, like I think yes that some of these women were prostitutes. Now, can I 100% put my finger on that and say yes, yes, yes? I can't.
Yeah.
Um, or they
Grand Grandma makes a statement later, and she's like, "You're gonna get to know." This is like later on in the episode. She's like, She tells Michiru, she's like, "You're gonna get to know Anima-City very well, and how women are treated in the city."
right, right,
You know,
right, and she does say stuff like
which
that.
makes me think like that women are sort of lower class citizens almost.
I think that yes, people think that too, but it's probably just like the muscles thing, and
Probably, yeah.
but we also haven't seen like some kind of bodybuilder chick that's like, you know,
We did
making all the
see a
boys look like shit.
warthog woman earlier at the very
When
beginning. At the very
it was
beginning,
a
when
man,
it was a man. I thought it was a woman.
I think so.
It
I
had a
mean,
woman
it may
voice.
have been a woman. We just never saw it
It
transform back.
had a
So
female voice.
I don't know. Um,
I don't know. Yeah. I
there are
mean,
some
quote.
questionable things in this.
I
Okay,
mean, it's quote like scientifically, men are supposed to be stronger than women.
right,
You know,
right.
and stuff. But yeah, so Michiru goes to Grand Grandma, and she's like, "Look, I can prove I'm a human. I just need my wallet back." And she's like, "Oh, this wallet I got here." And she's like, "Okay, I'll give you this back, but you need to do something for me. You need to teach these kids how to read and write." And
Right.
I was like, "What the fuck? This took a turn." And I was like, "Okay." And we get this cute little, we get this
Hey, I
what?
completely thought that this part though was because she says that and she goes, "Yeah, I need you to teach these kids."
Yeah.
So we'll circle back to what these kids means in a second,
Yes,
but
these kids.
continue.
You see, and we get a cute moment with Michiru and the kids. It's funny. It's a funny little moment where she's teaching them how to read and write, and kanji and stuff like that.
Teaches
It's
them their names.
teaches their names and stuff. It's cute. It's cute. And she finds out more about the Silver Wolf. She finds out more about Shirou, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen him?" She's like, "Oh, no, not really." But he's like out there the
Yeah.
watching them, and we get the mob shows up, and they're like, "Hey, you got to pay up, or give us some goods or something like that." And we cut from that to later on at the docks. The kids and Michiru are locked up.
I really want to see what the huge guy, what his beast form
Yes,
is.
yes,
I mean, this guy is huge.
yeah. We find out that they get locked up and they're going to be shipped off to humans as basically human trafficking
Yes.
for God knows what.
And they were going to have more money if they could read and write or
Yes.
have a higher price, which honestly, to me, this little part right here really felt like fucking Promise Neverland.
I've never seen that show, so I can't say yes or no to that.
Oh, I mean, it totally felt like Promise Neverland because it was like, wait, so they're supposed to be educated so that they're tastier? What the fuck?
Yeah,
But
like what
yeah,
are they
well, I
gonna
mean,
fucking
they were gonna become like rich people's little like pets and shit.
yeah
Yeah. And then like who they had gotten them from, it was either that their parents were all dead
or
or
lost?
lost, or they stole them while their parents weren't looking.
Yeah,
So I mean, we had a bunch of kids that like all this stuff happened, um, and they try and like get them raised up so they can go on to the thing. And of course, like we found out one of the Tanuki powers is that Michiru can extend her tail and like grow it.
it's like puffed up like a big old
Yeah,
puff ball.
puff it up real good. She can also wrap it around her and make like a shield cushioning thing.
Yeah, kind of like Groot.
Kind of like Groot, yes.
Kind of like Groot.
Or like Shippo from Inuyasha.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then we get this other weird power, but because we've had the little
Yes,
shiny light tail thingy too.
Yeah, and she tried to do that and then thing and like throw the like the crate off balance, or not a crate, like shipping container off balance.
Yeah.
But she couldn't really do
Shipping
it.
cage. Yeah.
Yeah, she couldn't really do it. And she's telling the kids, we gotta stretch our arms out and try to reach the controls. And I love this scene where like she's talking to him, and the one kid's like, "Your tail is gross."
Yeah.
He's like, "That's gross."
Well, and I was a little confused on one part because we do have where like she's reaching and she's like, "We have to reach, like go," and then
Yeah.
her hands hit the window and you're, "Oh, she reached." And then they do the wide panel shot where you actually see that her arms have stretched, and you're like,
she
"What the
fucking like
hell?"
she fucking like Mr. Fantastic did.
Yes, which this turns into one of my favorite parts,
Okay.
where she gets her hands into the box
And she starts
with the
strangling the
guy,
guy.
and she starts strangling the guy, and she goes, "I think I've got the trigger. I think I'll just pull back." And she thinks she has the lever mechanism, and she just keeps pulling him, and his hands are stuck on the thing too. So as she's pulling him, he's actually pulling this thing with him.
I
And that was the funniest part because she just thought that she had the thing the whole
yeah.
time, and she just had this guy around the neck.
I think she killed him, to be honest. Like, I think she probably killed that poor man.
I don't, I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
borderline. I don't know.
she strangled him.
Yeah, I mean, she strangled him so much he turned into a beast man. So,
Yeah.
um, and then of course we have the white wolf or the silver wolf come out of nowhere
Yeah, and he,
to
he saves the day.
help with the kids and defend them from the lioness and grandma's bunny form and arrest all of them.
Yeah. Because the cops show
So
up.
yeah,
And
so I mean,
kind of say I don't know if you remember this, but like the I don't know if he's like the detective or like the police chief. I don't know what he is, but he looked like Scruff McGruff. Looks like he wanted to
yes,
keep us out of crime.
yeah, like the beagle, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he looked
I
exactly like him.
I kind of wonder. See, that's the thing. I really wonder, like, if they get this from any other like references
I don't know. He looked a lot
or
like him.
not, because there's so many things that seem like other animes or like real life things, and I was like, this would have been the perfect thing for that guy to be in.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, she just ends up saving him and stuff, and um, that's where we get the speech from Grandma. She's like, like watch yourself. This place isn't kind to women. Like,
Yes.
Anima-City is not kind to women. And Michiru finally shows Shirou that. Oh, she starts asking him like, "Why didn't you help? Why didn't you help?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't have any real proof exactly what was going on, and I never make mistakes at all."
Right.
And she's
Right.
like, "Well, guess what? You made a mistake." She shows him the ID, and it says human, and has a picture of her. She's human. So you made a mistake. I fucking hate this city. I can't wait to change back and get out of this place. And that's
Yeah.
where episode 2 ends.
Yeah.
Like Shirou made a mistake.
Which is very funny how episode 1 ended, and she was like, "Oh, I love this place."
Yeah.
To being here, and she's like, "Oh, I hate this place."
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I
A
mean,
very
it's
interesting,
crazy.
a very interesting juxtaposition just after the first 2 episodes.
Yes,
I feel like.
So I mean, well, getting to the nitty gritty, what's your rating for it?
So it very much did catch me by surprise. I would give the first 2 episodes 4 out of 5. I had fun with it. Like
Okay.
I liked the designs of the world. I liked all the color and the like the stuff like that. The fight scenes were amazing. I'm very interested in Michiru. I like her as a character. She's a fun character, I like her style that she's got going on. Shiro's cool too. He's interesting, and I feel like it's a very interesting, like dark. I want to say almost like noir like show because it has like a little bit of elements of like pulp noir. I feel like
Yeah,
with like being a detective or whatever Shirou is, you know,
yeah.
very much a little, very much like a gritty, almost like a kind of a gritty show, gritty fantasy show almost.
Good, good. Then I know I picked some pretty good shows.
I don't know. We'll have to see. It depends on how it ends.
I would say so far I do have some complaints. They're not like big things,
Well,
just
what are
stuff
they?
here
What
and
are they?
there.
Just say what are they?
You know, like the little nose thing, like some just inconsistencies that don't seem like they make sense.
Yeah.
Other than that, like really the only biggest gripe I have is the shit with Shiro, where just how his attitude is. I hate it.
Yeah.
But you know, I kind of feel like he's supposed to be that way for him to kind of see this light that
Uh-huh.
you know this other character is bringing into his life, and then see him kind of change.
I did feel like the first episode was paced a little bit better than the second episode was.
I agree.
Like it had very better much pacing, and like the first half of the second episode, it kind of dragged a little bit.
Yeah,
Like once we got to like the mystery part, I was like, oh whoa, what's going on here with these prostitutes?
yeah. But for me, I would say 4.5. Like I said, just a few gripes here and there.
Yeah,
Not really much of anything.
it's fun. It's
Um,
fun. It's definitely worth a look at and
yeah,
checking out. I feel like.
and I am really glad, especially like after we've moved on from Delicious and Dungeon and Cyberpunk, that I did feel more Cyberpunk esque
Oh yes, it does.
things with this one.
It very much like I don't want to say like visually proto cyberpunk, but
Yeah,
like it has influences, maybe trigger influences on the cyberpunk world. But like
right,
this anime is very stylized when it wants to be, and
right,
it's very well animated. Like the camera angles that they choose to use and stuff like that are really very dynamic, and the
yeah.
dynamic fight scenes and stuff. You know, it was cool. It
Yeah,
was cool.
I mean, and it is very trigger esque. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that was probably one of the other better things that since we've already covered a good chunk of trigger stuff compared to what we covered last week or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, just because like I feel like we're still in that trigger element
I
and we
mean,
still
if
like
it's
that's
a very Trigger show, and if you
yeah,
don't like Trigger, you're not gonna like it.
no. No. So, you know, um, I kind of feel like though that this was like the show that we needed after kind of coming off of that because it does feel like it's very triggery,
Yeah.
and at the same time not.
Hmm.
So I mean, you can kind of like see that, but I also can't tell you that it's not because the show that we watched last time, which is the TP Bond,
Yeah.
you know, if it just seems like it was so far out there that
Yeah.
this one almost seems like a breath of fresh air for
Uh,
both of us watching it, you
I'm
know?
interested to see where this goes
Yeah.
because I get very much like now. Go with me on this. I get very much like X-Men vibes with all like the prejudice stuff against the Beastmen and stuff, and some of them might have special powers, but like they're hated and feared by humanity.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. I also feel like another thing you could view this as is like prejudice of like races and
Yeah.
things in general, you know,
Well, I mean that's what the X-Men stood for.
because the other thing like we are getting this, it is different races, you know, basically we
Yeah.
have
Well, I mean
human.
the X-Men was originally an allegory for racism.
Yeah. But the other thing, though, I feel like, especially with episode 2, is we are getting this whole thing of how a good chunk, even in their own, you know, race,
World.
quote
Yeah.
unquote,
Yeah.
with the Beastmen, that how they treat women as well.
Hmm.
And it's really weird because if you really focus on everything, like we've talked about crime, like we talk about all the shit that goes on in the world every day anyway,
Yeah.
but we also have this added shit on top of it of how animals handle that shit.
Yeah. It was very like patriarchal.
Yeah, I mean, we have like how people rob, but how do they rob? Well, they do this. They can sneak off. It's much easier with this. You're standing in line somewhere. Oh well, might is right. All this. Who has the more power?
Yeah.
Like you kind of inferred to on like prostitution and how women have to do all this other stuff and how they can be in danger. I mean, like looking at like the serial killers and all the stuff, like this does seem like the best representation in like our current world now, and 20
Do you
years
think
ago and all this other
do you
stuff.
think they have a drug problem?
Oh, most definitely somebody's got to.
You mean like gives them like catnip or something?
Yeah, I mean, every time I see the monkey guy, I feel that way. He looks like he's bugged out. I'm like, what the hell? And then the funny thing is, his art design almost seems like it's the same. So,
I mean, yeah, it looks like yeah.
like one, he's got like black hair on top of his head, and then he turns into the monkey. And you're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like you almost look exactly the same.
I guess
So,
that's why it was so easy to spot.
right, probably. But yeah, I think that's funny with seeing how like humans would deal with stuff, and then also adding this animal element into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think that's pretty cool as well.
It'll be interesting to see like going forward, like how the humans will be more a part of this series possibly, and
Yeah.
how they're going to deal with like the whole racist like
Well,
bigotry and stuff like that.
and I want to see more too. Like we're going to see that regardless, I think.
Yeah. I
But I
want to
want
see
to see
more like the
more
inner workings
on.
of their society.
Yeah, I want to see more on like what is the Silver Wolf thing?
Yeah.
Like on top of the building, what was that? Because it doesn't exactly look like Shirou per se, but it looks more of like a spirit because it looked more like a wolf instead of a humanoid wolf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, and then just kind of like more of this other thing. Like now we know she's a human. We knew a little bit about her backstory, but the other thing that I question and is my driving force in this too is we've heard where she wants to go back, but my other thing is she's been this way for a year. Like
It's true.
who took care of her and did all that for a year?
I
Because she's
think
a high
probably
school student.
I think she probably was in hiding.
Well, I think
They-
she probably had family that hit her,
yeah, I mean she
and
was
so
hiding. They did show her hiding in her room.
I mean, that's my other thing I want to know is does she have family that are looking for her? And what is the turnabout for that with her family?
Yeah.
Were they accepting when she changed or are they not?
Yeah, yeah, no, most
And
definitely.
will we get this coming forward? Like, will we see where humans are trying to come to Anima-City because it's maybe her parents or a relative that are looking for her and they don't know what to do? And how
Right.
does that put them in the situation with a human being in Anima-City?
It's kind of like, well, have you thought about not being a beast man?
Right.
You know, he's like, no,
And
I'm fucking mutant. Leave me alone.
right. Well, and I mean, that's the other thing with this too. Like, if this happened to her and she changed, there's got to be some kind of supernatural element to it, or it's something sciency. And I wonder if one of her parents is actually Beastman that was in hiding and just was always in their human form,
Ooh, yeah,
or is there some other science thing that goes with this? And either for humans to turn into beastmen or for beastmen to turn into humans, is her blood or something gonna
I
be
think. Okay,
like the code?
I'm gonna like theorize right now.
All right.
I think, I think Michiru's mom got fucked by a Tanuki, and
Jesus Christ.
was really into teabagging because
Oh
the
my God.
Tanukis have really really big testicles.
Jesus Christ. Where did I go wrong? I chose the wrong friends. Jesus. Um I'm gonna tell your girlfriend fiance about this, okay?
Hey, she already knows. She listens to the podcast.
Oh my god. She's gonna be like, so you got a tanuki ball fetish, huh, Talker Mike?
Look. I'll get text messages to be like, no, since she did not eat humans or eat the dwarfs,
Jesus.
since she is not a cannibal.
Love it.
Like she'll be listening to the podcast, and I'll be like, I'll get text messages. I'm like, what did I say on the podcast? I forgot what I said.
My God, I love it.
I
I do
don't,
that sometimes too.
I don't remember.
Because I have some friends that listen to the podcast and they'll message me about something too, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, the podcast is such like you get in the mindset of it, and I said, and then you turn around and get straight back out of it. And I said, it's funny
I
because I
mean,
said we can bring shit up that we talked about on it, and one of us may remember a little bit of it, and then the other one's like, I don't fucking know. Like,
we've been doing this
what
for
did I
what?
say?
We've been doing this for like almost 3 or 4 years now.
Something, yeah,
Something like that. I don't remember. I lost count.
Right?
Oh.
But I mean, yeah, like that's the thing is it's like, okay, like we do this and then we have like real life and it's like we did this and then it's like, oh man, I really love that show, blah blah blah, and I'm like, which show? Oh, the one you just put out. What did we just put out? You know, like,
What did we talk about?
and I loved where you and Mike talked about blah 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 blah, and I'll be like, what did we talk about? I don't know. What part are we talking about? What was brought up? And it just like, so it's hilarious to me. Like people, like it sticks with people, but at the same time, it doesn't stick with me and you. We're like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, we've done like a lot of episodes, so
Yeah. Well, short of knowing what we're going to cover, I don't think I could actually tell anybody anything that's in an episode besides like the pizza Oreo sex move thingy. That's probably about it, because I don't remember anything else predominantly about anything else besides that. Maybe what's her name? Chimera Fallon and her boobs not being the right size.
oh yeah.
I mean, maybe that.
I
But
mean
like
that was important.
there's not very many things that I just remember off of us recording the podcast, okay? So obviously for you too, right? But
That's true. That's true. That's definitely true.
anyway,
But you can
pimp us out.
reach, yeah, you can reach us on our Instagram page at Talkology Podcast. You can rate and review us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can go check out Jen's new adventure that he's doing called Bard's Tavern, where he talks about D&D stuff on a new Instagram page. Go check that out. Go check that out. Because we were supposed to be a part of some thing, and I was like, no, I don't want to be a part of it.
Right.
Sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I mean, more things to the podcast, right?
That's true. That's true.
So, but anyway, we will catch you next Tuesday. See you, B-Spin.